welcome back to the videos. So, what have we got so far? Well, we're trying to make a mini snake game, and if I look back at what I've managed to do in these 9 parts, so I've got a red block that moves around on the screen, it bashes against the edges so we can't go off the screen. I've got an apple that kind of appears in the screen, and if I'm lucky enough to get the position of my snake over the top of my apple, I can kind of eat my apple. But as I think we've kind of seen, we've got a couple of problems with that effect. One of the problems is, if you notice, the apple is always appearing in the top left corner of the screen. And the reason for that is the math module that we're using to randomize its position. The math random module, if we Google the math random module, let's have a look at this. So we'll go JavaScript, and we'll go math, and we'll go random. What does the math random module do? Well, W3 School's got a great section on this. It tells us that the math random module always gives us a number lower than 1. Let's see if that's true. Let's give that a little test. So let's go back to our code. Let's give it another run. Let's actually bump over the top of our apple. And what was that number? It was 0.59 and 0.769. Let's give it another run and see what happens. 0.79, 0.54, 0.34. Yeah, it's looking pretty solid. So how are we going to change this? How are we going to solve this? Well, we don't actually want it to appear between 0 and 1. We want it to appear between 0 and the size of our screen. What's the size of our screen? Well, the size of our screen we determined is 200 by 200. But what we've got is this effect where if we were to multiply by 10, if we were to multiply these values by 10, by 20. Multiply these values by 20. No, multiply by 10, because we are positioning this AX and we're multiplying it by 20. So 10 times 20 is 200. So we actually want to multiply by 10, not by 20. Let's give it a run. So did I save that then? I did. Alt-Tab F5. Let's give it a run and let's see. So let's try again. I mean, it does appear to be, look, it's definitely not jumping. And that's probably the furthest that I'm going to get it. Ideally, I'd want to see it appear in the bottom right-hand corner, but it's definitely appearing there. But if we look, like just then, it doesn't appear to be jumping to an even position. So I'm pretty safe that that's actually going to where we want it to go. But 8.569 is not something that my snake is ever at. My snake is multiples of kind of whole numbers of 20s. So what do we need to do? Well, let's have a look at one thing that might fix it. Our math module at the moment is giving us kind of decimal places that we're then multiplying by 10, and that's not even a flat number. That's not even like a round number rounded down. And the way we can deal with that is by using the math module again, and we can use a feature called floor. We can say math.floor, and that will give us a rounded down version of this number. Let's bounce all the way up to there, and let's see how this works. So we'll do the same with the y, math.floor, and we're going to get all the way from we should end up with whole numbers. It should round down to the nearest integer. Let's see whether that's had an appreciable effect. Nice. So we've got a 0 and a 6. I should be able to eat that apple. Let's see. I should be able to eat that apple. I think we might have actually got a situation there, a false positive, where we just ended up with it jumping straight to the same position on the screen. But you can see now we've got apples that we can eat that then randomly relocate on the screen. So with our final 30 seconds, what I think I want to do is I want somewhere that I can keep track of the score. Now, just to start with, I think what we'll do is we'll just add a very simple score, a 0, and we'll say that whenever we get a random, we will increase the score by 1. And instead of console logging these values, now that we've got this worked out, I'm going to save that. I'm going to refresh it. And there's our initial score, and I've just got 1. Let's see whether we can get 2. We've got 2. Let's see if we can get 3. And now we've kind of got something that keeps track of our scores. And we're getting towards our snake game. Thanks for watching the video. I'll catch you in the next one.